Okay, gotta confess. Something never really gave much thought to that, little pool of oil left in the pan after frying up some dinner. Down the drain it went, you know. But then I started learning about this whole sustainable food like system thing. And let me tell you, even something as ordinary as used cooking oil, well, it's got a surprisingly complicated afterlife.
It's true. What we often just see as just waste can actually be a valuable resource, and that's where a company like Greenflow Environmental Solutions comes in.
Greenflow Environmental Solutions, okay.
Yeah, they're tackling this specific type of waste called yellow grease.
Okay.
And what they're doing is really remarkable.
So for those of us who haven't, spent a lot of time around industrial kitchens,
Yeah.
what exactly is yellow grease? It sounds kind of ominous, to be honest.
It's not as scary as it sounds.
Okay.
Essentially, yellow grease is just like a fancy term for used cooking oil.
Okay.
The stuff that's left over after you fried up those French fries or mozzarella sticks or whatever.
Right.
The problem is this oil can't just be poured down the drain, right?
Yeah.
It's got all sorts of contaminants that can clog pipes and just totally mess up sewage systems.
Okay, that makes sense. But if it's such a problem, why not just chuck it in the trash?
Because it's not just about getting rid of it. It's about what happens to it after it leaves our kitchens.
Okay.
Greenflow sees yellow grease not as some nuisance, but as a valuable resource. They've built their whole business around this idea of transforming this potential environmental hazard into something, beneficial.
I love that. So how do they actually do it? What's their, secret sauce?
Well, they talk about their key benefits, right? And what really stood out to me is how they emphasize tailored solutions.
Okay.
It's not like a, one-size-fits-all approach. They get that a small family restaurant is going to generate a different kind of grease in different amounts than, say, a huge food processing plant.
Right, that makes sense. But how do they actually tailor those solutions? Do they have a magic grease zapping machine for every occasion?
It's not magic, but it is pretty clever.
Okay.
They start with a comprehensive waste assessment.
Oh, okay.
So this means they analyze the type and the amount of grease each business produces.
So it's like a diagnosis before they come up with a treatment plan.
Exactly. Based on that assessment, they then develop a custom disposal plan.
Oh.
This could involve, providing different sizes and types of collection containers. Yeah. Optimizing collection schedules.
Makes sense.
Even training staff on proper grease handling procedures.
Wow, so they're really involved in the whole process, not just, picking up a big vat of grease and saying, see you later.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. Greenflow is committed to, eco-friendly waste processing. They utilize advanced technologies, and this is where I wish they gave a bit more detail on their website.
Right.
But they talk about transforming this grease into things like biofuel.
Okay, hold on. Turning old cooking oil into fuel, that's pretty incredible. I'm definitely going to need them to elaborate on those advanced technologies because that sounds fascinating.
Right. And you know what else really impressed me?
But
their focus on regulatory compliance. They handle all the necessary permits and, documentation, ensuring everything is done by the book.
Yep.
Now, I know paperwork isn't the sexiest topic, but it shows a level of transparency and accountability that's really important in the waste management industry.
It's they're not just trying to get away with the bare minimum. They're setting a new standard for responsible waste management.
Right.
And that's something I think a lot of us are, looking for, especially those of us interested in sustainability. So this is all great for businesses, but how does it, impact ME, the average French fry enthusiast, on a day-to-day basis?
That's the key question, isn't it? It's about, awareness and making conscious choices.
Yeah.
Now, you might not be generating, gallons of yellow grease at home, right? But you do have a say in where that grease from your favorite restaurant ends up.
So next time I'm ordering takeout, I should be asking, hey, what are you doing with your used cooking oil? That might get some strange looks, but I love that idea of supporting businesses that are making, responsible choices.
It might seem like a small thing, but these individual choices can have a ripple effect. By supporting businesses that prioritize sustainability, we're sending a message that we care about where our waste goes and the impact it has on the planet.
And it's not just about where our waste goes, right? It's what it could become. Turning used cooking oil into biofuel. That's like something out of science fiction.
I know, right? It really makes you think about, waste in a whole new way. What we see as like garbage could actually be like the key to a more sustainable future.
It's like we're finally catching on to what nature's known all along. Everything's like connected. There's value in everything if you just like know where to look.
Exactly. And GreenFlow, they're not stopping at yellow grease. They're applying the same, innovative thinking to other types of waste too. Did you know that they also handle like hazardous waste, industrial waste, even medical waste?
Wow, I did not realize they were involved in so many different areas. It's like they're the waste whisperers finding solutions for everything. But what really stood out to me was their partnership with One Tree Planted.
Yeah.
For every service they provide, they plant a tree. That's such a cool initiative.
It is. It really highlights their commitment to not just, mitigating the negative impacts of waste, but also like actively contributing to a healthier planet. It's that,
Yeah.
holistic thinking that we need more of.
It's like they're saying, like, we're not just going to, clean up the mess. We're going to help rebuild and regenerate too. That's like a powerful message. It makes me wonder, what else can we learn from GreenFlow's approach? What other industries or areas of our lives could benefit from this kind of circular, thinking?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? If we can transform something as, seemingly useless as use cooking oil into a valuable resource, imagine the possibilities.
I'm already picturing a future where our cities run on coffee grounds and our cars are powered by banana peels. Okay, maybe that's a bit far-fetched, but, you get the idea.
I love it. And honestly, who knows what the future holds? With a little creativity and a commitment to sustainability, we might be surprised at what we can achieve.
Speaking of creativity, I stumbled across something on GreenFlow's website that caught my eye. They have this whole section dedicated to what they call the future of waste. It's almost like they have like a crystal ball predicting the next big thing in sustainable waste management.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What kind of insights do they offer? What's their vision for the future of the industry?
Well, they seem to be particularly excited about something called anaerobic digestion, which sounds pretty technical, but essentially it's a process that uses microorganisms to break down organic waste.
Ah, yes. Anaerobic digestion. It's not exactly a new technology, but it's definitely gaining traction as a, more sustainable way to manage organic waste like food scraps and, yes, even yellow grease.
Right. And what's really cool is that this process not only like reduces waste, but it also produces biogas, which can be used as a renewable energy source. It's like a double whammy of sustainability.
Exactly. It's a fantastic example of how we can like close the loop on waste, turning what was once a problem into a valuable resource. And the potential applications go, way beyond just yellow grease. Imagine using anaerobic digestion to, manage food waste in our homes, in our cities, even on industrial farms.
That's a really interesting thought. Instead of sending all that organic waste to landfills, we could be using it to generate clean energy and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. It's like turning garbage into like gold, or at least biogas, which is arguably just as valuable these days.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the, environmental benefits either. Anaerobic digestion can also create, economic opportunities, generating new jobs and supporting local communities.
It's like this whole new world of possibilities is opening up right before our eyes. I'm starting to feel a lot more optimistic about the future of waste, that's for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's encouraging to see companies like GreenFlow, leading the charge and pushing the boundaries of what's possible in sustainable waste management.
They're definitely setting a high bar for the rest of the industry. And speaking of setting a high bar, GreenFlow doesn't just, talk the talk when it comes to sustainability. They also walk the walk. They've implemented all sorts of eco-friendly practices within their own, operations.
Yeah, like what?
From using, fuel-efficient vehicles to minimizing their use of paper.
It's that kind of attention to detail, that really sets them apart. They're not just focused on the end result.
Right.
They're thinking about the entire life cycle of their business and how they can minimize their environmental footprint at every step.
It's like they're saying, we're not perfect,
Right.
but we're constantly striving to, do better. And that's a message that I think resonates with a lot of people. Sustainability, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely. It's about taking responsibility for our actions and making, conscious choices that benefit both people and the planet. And it's
Mhm.
about recognizing that even small changes can make a big difference.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into this surprisingly fascinating world of yellow grease, what's the key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that waste is not the end of the story.
Okay.
It's an opportunity. With a
Okay.
little ingenuity and a commitment to sustainability, we can transform what we once considered, garbage into valuable
It's
resources.
like that old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, exactly.
We just need to start looking at, waste through a different lens, seeing the potential instead of the problem.
Precisely. And that shift in perspective can lead to some really innovative solutions,
Right.
as GreenFlow has clearly demonstrated.
Well said. Well, on that inspiring note, I think it's time for us to sign off. But before we go, I want to thank you, the listener, for joining us on this deep dive into the world of sustainable waste management. And a special thank you to our expert for sharing their incredible insights.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy a good deep dive into these, important topics.
Me too. And for our listeners, if you're eager to learn more about GreenFlow and their innovative approach to waste management, be sure to check out their website. We'll include a link in the show notes.
And if this conversation has kind of sparked your curiosity about the circular economy and the future of waste, we encourage you to do some, exploring of your own. There's so many incredible resources available online and in your local community.
Absolutely. Because knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And the more we understand about these issues, the better equipped we'll be to make, informed choices that create a more sustainable future for all.
Well said.
Until next time, keep those questions coming. And remember, even the smallest actions can make a big impact.